Welcome to the Basketball Exchange, where the game never stops and the conversation goes deeper than the box score. I'm your host, Cretanya Morgan. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal. I am recording this off the heels of a Fever victory over the Toronto Tempo, the Indiana Fever, on a four-game winning streak. They've been playing incredible basketball as of late, and we'll get more into the Fever in just a second. But I must say, I've been really enjoying having WNBA games every single day. I have no idea why the schedule was so crazy the first couple of weeks of the season. We went days without games. And then we had days where there was like 5 and 6 games, which is impossible, of course, as a fan, to try to really consume that much basketball at once. But in this past week, I've really enjoyed the fact that we've had games to watch every single day. Even today, there was only one game, but it was a primetime game and a really good matchup that had Commissioner Cup implications. So very, very grateful for that. And we have a huge slate of games on tomorrow, actually six to be exact. So it's going to be one of those crazy days in the W, but I'm definitely looking forward to catching a few of those games. So, few things we wanted to kind of tackle today. First things first, we have to start this conversation off just giving the I'm gonna say it. I think the rookie of the year, Olivia Miles, her flowers, as the kids say. Olivia Miles has been absolutely amazing for the entire season. But the last 2 weeks, she's really elevated her game in a different way. If you followed her college career, she started off with Notre Dame and shared the backcourt with Hannah Hidalgo, who is one of the best talents in women's college basketball currently. Um, she was also teammates with Sonia Citron. And 2 years ago, I thought that Notre Dame team had a real shot at contending for a national championship. That's how good they were. But in sharing that backcourt with Hannah, there were things that we just didn't see Olivia be able to do. We never saw her have the opportunity to be the primary ball handler. We seen her play a lot of off ball, which we see she's able to do. And let me say, with her being in that role, she thrived. She was one of the top players in the nation, one of the top scorers in the nation. But I think most of us kind of viewed her as that, a scorer and not necessarily a point guard or a team that can consistently initiate the offense or get a team in their offense. So fast forward just a bit. She makes the decision not to become eligible for the WNBA draft. She decides that she's going to stay in college for an additional year, which made sense financially because this was a year that everyone knew was coming to the end of the CBA, was getting ready to expire, and it was a foregone conclusion that that number that players were making coming into the league was going to stay the same. Everyone knew that that number was going to become a six-figure number. And so wasn't the worst decision for anyone that was eligible that decided to come back because of course we know we are now in a NIL era where players have the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands and in some case millions of dollars in college basketball. So Hannah stays in college, but makes the decision to actually transfer from Notre Dame to TCU, which is a up and coming women's college basketball program. We've seen a couple of players elect to go there. Haley Van Lith, LSU player, transferred from LSU to TCU, which a lot of people would consider a smaller school, right? You're leaving the SEC, you're leaving the big, I think Notre Dame is in the Big East. You're leaving the Big East and you're going to, TCU, which is in a smaller conference. And, it's kind of unheard of to leave those type of programs for TCU. But nonetheless, she goes there and Olivia has a phenomenal season. She's one of the best players in college basketball last year, and we got to really see her game develop. We got to see her in a new way. Okay, she's not just this catch and shoot player that you kind of put off in the corner and she kind of just waits her turn and picks her spots. She was given the keys to the car. And TCU's offense was amazing. They clicked on all cylinders. She had a phenomenal senior year, which had a lot of people excited about her potential coming into the draft. Everyone pretty much was saying she's going to be one or two. She's not dropping. She's not getting past Minnesota, and she did not. With the number 2 pick, Minnesota Lynx, they snag her. This is an organization that has not had a point guard of this magnitude since the great Lindsay Whalen retired. So this has been just a seamless fit. She has looked amazing from day one, never looked overwhelmed, never looked rattled, never looked like the moment is too big for her. Again, as I said on the last pod, a prototypical Cheryl Reeves player. And in the last 2 weeks, as I stated, she's just elevated her game to another level. She was last week's player of the week and for the Western Conference. And she's been on a tear, quite literally. This past Saturday, the Minnesota Lynx had a, I would say, big time matchup. I know it's early in the season, but big time matchup with the Las Vegas Aces. These are two of the top teams record wise in the WNBA facing each other. So this was a pretty big game in terms of, okay, who moves up in the rankings for the standings. And I just think it's a great barometer if you're a Lynx fan to kind of see where you measure up. You are going against the defending champs. You're in their house, right, in Vegas. And Minnesota went in there and they played a very good game. They got themselves in a little bit of a hole early, dug their way out. Olivia Miles was clutched down the stretch, hitting shot after shot after shot. Um, Again, looks like she's been in the league 2, 3 years. Does not look like she's a rookie. She plays with so much control. She's so poised. I was in awe of her, and I'm watching the NBA finals, but I have the game on because this is must-see TV. This is Asia Wilson, this is Jackie Young, this is Chelsea Gray, right? This is all of these phenomenal players, and this is Olivia Miles, Natasha Howard, Kayla McBride. Like again, two best teams record-wise in the W facing off. Even though huge implications for the NBA Finals, I could not turn away from this game, and I found myself saying, Olivia Miles has to be one of the top finishers at the rim already in this league. And she just blew me away. Now, they did lose. Asia Wilson was very clutch in that game, came up big, hit some big shots, which is obviously no surprise to anyone. She's the reigning MVP, and I think the best player in the game by a mile. So they, were unsuccessful in their quest to go into Vegas and get a win. But you have to feel good if you're Cheryl Reeves and the Lynx. Like they've been very, very impressive. They still have the league's best record at 11-3, despite that loss. And they just been very, very impressive to me from start to finish. They are top 5 in the league in offense, top 5 in the league in defense. And of course, they're getting a top 3, top 4 player in the league back, I would say, within the next month or so. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they look like. I don't know if they can contend this year. Ideally, right? Like you want all of your pieces there from the start of the season to the finish of the season. But injuries happen, things happen. We don't live in a perfect world. And every championship run looks different. I don't know of a scenario where everything just went everybody's way from start to finish in the previous champions of this league. And so I don't want to say that they're not going to contend or compete this year. I think they will. And I think that ideally, of course, Fee comes in, they can kind of work her back in and slowly where they're not putting a lot of pressure on her on either end of the court because they have fully capable players. We've seen that from them thus far. But if we're just being honest, we know the level of intensity, the level of play kicks up as it relates to the playoffs. And it's a new season. The slate is wiped. It's 0-0 for everyone that makes the playoffs. Whatever you did in the regular season, great. You got to show it. You got to prove it. And in order to take that crown from the Aces, I believe that A team is going to have to be a well-oiled machine. I believe that a team is going to have to really be mistake free um, in many different areas. The Aces, to me, have had a couple of injuries of note, most notably to Dana Evans, who's yet to make her season debut. Kennedy Carter has been hurt as well. So, two notable key rotation level players for them have been out. Jackie Young is finally back to looking like Jackie Young, but Chelsea Gray to me has not yet joined the party. I think that's a little bit scary for anybody that knows how great this Vegas team is. When everything really starts to click for them, particularly on the defensive end, I think that's where they can kind of pick it up a bit. It's going to be scary for everyone. So we know people get up for the champs. We know they're getting everybody's best effort night in and night out, but I'll be honest, I picked the New York Liberty to win the championship, but the Aces, they terrify me. Number one, I think they have the best player. And I think anytime you have the best player, you have an opportunity to win the championship. And Asia is just on another level. So, all things being equal, as we transition to talk about the red hot New York Liberty, who I did pick, to win the WNBA championship this year. They've been playing very well. They're on a 7-game winning streak, and they're getting healthy. Sabrina Ionescu is back. They have all of their players finally. Benasia, Lainey Hamilton is back. Who else was missing for them? I think that was the two. Oh, Satu. Satu Sabali is back as well. Now they're bringing her off the bench, which I agree with. I don't know if that's going to be a permanent situation, if they're going to kind of run it back with the crew that they had last year as starting five. Honestly, I don't really think it matters about who starts for this team. I think it absolutely will matter about who finishes, and I believe that they're going to go with the best five in the moment. And I don't believe that there's a lot of ego, a lot of issue with rotations or playing time. I believe that this is a unified group where people want to compete for a championship. I don't believe Sabrina and Stewie and Jonquel are satisfied with winning one championship. I think that they look at their team and they look at the Aces, and I think they feel that they have the better group. And transparently speaking, they have an opportunity, if healthy, to dethrone the Aces. I think they stand a better chance than anyone that I've seen thus far this season. And the fact that they've got it going in spite of not having everyone 100%, I think that's equally as scary. I think it's a little scary that Stewie and John Quell have pretty much been holding down the fort. They dug themselves in a bit of a hole to start the season. And I and I said, to myself, man, it would be the year I picked them that they make me look like a fool. But I really like what I've been seeing from them this last 7 games on this winning streak that they've been on. They obviously beat the teams they're supposed to beat. I get it, right? They're not, going out and beating the top teams in the league, although they did have a very impressive win against the Atlanta Dream. But they're winning games that they should win, and that is what you have to do in this league. Every win counts, and so I'm very happy with what I've been seeing from them. This team has the ability defensively, once everyone is in place, to really take it up a notch. That's the area that I really look for them to improve as they kind of get everybody back into the mix and the fold. Now, I'll tell you my concern for this team. I don't know this coach to trust this coach. This is not Sandy's Brondello's group. The edge that I gave the Liberty in years past has been due to having a what I consider to be Hall of Fame level coaching staff. Sandy is one of the best coaches in this league. After Cheryl, after Becky, I probably am taking Sandy next. Those two coaches, I think their resumes speak for themselves, and I think that most people would have them one and two. Obviously, Cheryl being number one. Sandy to me is right there at three. And she's doing a phenomenal job with the Toronto Tempo this year, and I don't think anyone is surprised by that at all. But the Liberty to me, the coaching staff, it's a new group that's there. I've seen some things that I like from the coaching staff. I think that they've maximized what they can out of these lineups, considering the different key figures that have been out. But there's also been some things that I've seen that I haven't really cared for. So I'll have to continue to monitor the situation as the season progresses. But definitely had to shout out the Liberty on the 7-game winning streak. Again, they're getting healthy. I think it's going to be extremely scary for the rest of the league if they continue to gel and improve. So we need to give a shout out to the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. This week, none other than Miss Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. She averaged 25 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. The Fever have won 4 straight. They've beaten Chicago, they've beaten Toronto, they've beaten the Sun, and they've just looked really good offensively the last couple of games. And I think that's been the area of concern. No one, I think, thought coming into this season that the Fever would be a great defensive team. Outside of Aaliyah Boston and I would say Raven Johnson, who's a rookie, and I don't think any of us knew how she'd be used with Stephanie White's rotation. Obviously, we know she's not going to start for this team. Those are the two players that are the best one-on-one in terms of defense. I would have to say Monique Billings is a solid team defender and makes an effort defensively. But outside of that, when you're looking at your, rotation of wings, and I love Lexi and I love Sophie, they're amazing. They could play for any team I have. But that's kind of where they are weak, right? That's an area of opportunity for them is those wing positions. Throw Kelsey Mitchell in that conversation as well. That's where the area of opportunity is for them. They really struggle guarding top players in this league in that area. Caitlin Clark, of course, we've talked ad nauseum, I feel, about her defense. I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse. So it's not just her. I don't want to isolate her individual defense, but just collectively as a group, this is not a great defensive team. So one of the things that I feel has to be going well for them is offense. They can't turn the ball over, which we know Caitlin Clark is leading the league in turnovers, and that's common for a point guard. You have the ball in your hands, things are going to happen. When you are carrying so much of the load. So I get that, but they have to cut down in that area. Offensive fouls, like silly things, just, you know, and they've addressed this, right? They've had a kind of, I call it come to Jesus meeting already early in the season to say, hey, we're soft. These areas we have to improve on. This is not the identity of this team. This is not how we want to play. Um, and this is a team that is getting used to playing with Caitlin Clark again. Remember, she missed the majority of the season last year. And the players that they were able to kind of plug in her absence were, to me, better defenders. And so this wasn't a historically awful defensive team last year. They were much better. And I think now that she's back, there's a bit of an adjustment, I think, from Kelsey. I think even for Sophie and Lexi. Like, I think everyone is having to kind of adjust once again to, having Caitlin have the ball and kind of dominating the ball at times and playing within a Stephanie White offense that has a lot of motion, which has received a lot of criticism. People are saying that the way they play is dated. You can't compete in today's WNBA that way. I digress. I don't know that that is the case. I don't know that I entirely agree with that sentiment. I think that the defensive liabilities are concerning in terms of them really being able to cut down the nets. But how prolific they play offensively and the potential for them to actually get better, I think is scary. And you can't ignore that. And I think as the season progresses, I do expect for this team to get better. Listen, it's a lot of eyes on them. All 44 of their games are nationally televised games. This is the most discussed team publicly, in the media, on social media, in every form of media there is, podcasts like this. I mean, you name it, they're being talked about. Heavy is the head. And I think that that can be overwhelming, especially when you're not living up to expectations, whether they're realistic expectations or not. There's still expectations for this team. And if I'm Las Vegas and I'm the Liberty, I'm loving every minute of this. Like, let the Fever have all the spotlight. Talk about them every day. Talk about Caitlin Clark every day. Put the spotlight on them. If I'm Vegas, I take no issue with that. If I'm the Liberty, I take no issue with it. I be, hey, y'all keep talking about them. Please ignore us. Please don't pay attention to anything we have going on over here. Keep the spotlight on them because, yeah, it's great for brand building. It's great to get that level of attention, but it also can be a headache. Again, we've seen all these viral moments from this team. We've seen the press conferences where Caitlin is visibly frustrated. Stephanie White is being hammered with questions about her coaching future, which is insane that anyone would think that Stephanie White's job is in jeopardy. Like craziness. But again, this team is very unique. There's no team in the WNBA that knows what it's like to be the Indiana Fever. They are the talking point. The spotlight is on them. And I think that they have an awesome opportunity to have a great season where they truly are a contender. And of course, we will definitely be keeping our eyes on them, but wanted to give Caitlin some shine this week to talk about just how great she's played the last couple of games. The three ball is finally starting to go through the net for her, and she's not just settling for the three. She's doing a great job driving to the basket when the three ball's not there, when she's, not really in rhythm. She's not settling for it. She's been aggressive going to the basket. So she had a game winner and you know, against the Washington Mystics. And I thought that was great for her because there had been a lot of attention and conversation that just was not really favorable or positive, and I thought that was a great moment for her to kinda get the monkey off her back, and since then, Indiana has really just played much better basketball. Their brand, um, and the way they're gonna have to be able to play in order to be able to compete. So, Western Conference Player of the Week is none other than Miss Asia Wilson. Asia, man, as great as Olivia Miles has been, and there's other players. Kelsey Plum has had a great season so far. Asia just is so great. It's almost not fair. And I haven't talked a lot about her. I guess, like the bar is so high. I don't know what to mention when it comes to her because it's like she has so many accomplishments. She's so amazing that, we haven't really talked a lot about Asia and the season she's having. By the way, I think she's having another MVP type season if I had a vote. And it's early, right? And I don't like to talk about all of these things kind of at this time. We're not even at the halfway point of the season, but Asia is the MVP right now. She she's the MVP. I'm not gonna say she's running away with it. Olivia Miles does exist. Kelsey Plum is back. She does exist. Um, so it's it's just tough to see someone being able to grab it from Asia. I believe Olivia Miles will have to continue on this pace. And hate to say it, Asia would have to have some type of injury where she missed a significant amount of time, or the Aces would have to unravel, similarly to what they did last year around this time, where they just lost a ton of games. And as great as her season was individually, it kind of took her out of the MVP conversation. It looked like it was going to be Fee for a while because the Aces just didn't have enough wins. But Fee got hurt, the Aces went on a historic run. The rest is history. So, but back to her Player of the Week accolades. She averaged 30 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.7 blocks. Asia's a beast. Well deserved. She's absolutely amazing. I can't say enough about her. I think, again, she's the best player in this league by a mile. And I think for anyone to, again, win the MVP, they're going to have an all world kind of year. So we shall see. Anyway, that was our slate of topics that we wanted to address today. Tonight we have a full slate of games, 6 total. The game that we have circled that we probably will come back and do some commentary on if it lives up to the hype, the Dallas Wings and the Golden State Valkyries. These are two high octane offenses that are colliding. I think this game has the potential to be really, really good. Um, maybe 90 point, possibly 100 point game. Who knows? Golden State is a much better offense than Las Vegas Sparks, but excuse me, the Los Angeles Sparks. But Kelsey Plum has been amazing since she's been back. She easily could have been player of the week. But again, Asia had that historic stat line. So it's going to be tough for her to win those honors, but have that game circled. Um, Hopefully, you guys will be able to check out some games today. Again, there's 6 of them. Find the one that you want to watch. If you get an opportunity to watch more than one, watch more than one. Support the league. Again, it's been a great season thus far. And so, thank you guys for your continued support. If you're not doing so already, please hit the subscribe button, whichever medium you choose to listen to these podcasts. All right, we are out. You guys take care. Be blessed.